Hi. Well, it's been about 3 weeks since the Oscars, and it's been quite a quite a wild 3 weeks. Yeah, we were going to show the footage from the Oscars here in my speech and the reaction and everything, but the Academy would not give the rights to it to be shown. So instead, you're stuck with me. Sitting here in Michigan on a picnic table with the Oscar beside me. So I guess what I'll do is I'll just tell you, about the whole Academy Awards and what was leading up to it, and we were first of all very surprised to be nominated. I had never been nominated before, and sort of the history with this is that the popular documentaries don't usually get nominated. So when we got nominated, we were very, very surprised and very pleased and thrilled. And so we went out to Los Angeles about a week before the Oscars. They have all these ceremonies and parties, and there were some other award ceremonies that we were nominated for. We went out for that, and there was a lot of speculation leading up to the Oscars about, geez, what if Michael Moore wins? What's he gonna say? Of course, the war in Iraq, at least the current war at that time, began 5 days before the Academy Awards. So the whole country was just consumed with what was going to happen in Iraq, and nobody quite knowing what the outcome would be. So it was a pretty tense time, and so it came that night, and we're there at the Academy Awards, and I didn't really think we had a chance of winning, frankly, and didn't come prepared with to say anything, because I didn't think we'd win. The last time that a documentary that was both that was a box office success that actually won the Oscar was Woodstock, I think, back around 1970-71. So I just didn't think that the odds were with us. But then we're sitting there with all the other nominees, and in the commercial break, just before our categories to be announced, I had this sudden feeling come over me that this was going to happen. I mean, we could actually win. I mean, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? And so we're sitting around the other documentary nominees, and I just leaned over to all of them and I said, listen, if for some reason we win in the next few minutes, I'd like you guys to come up on the stage, and all of you, come up there and join me. I'd like to share this moment with you. My feeling was, I've really had so many great moments with this film and other things, and this is the first time, I believe, for most of these filmmakers, and to come up on the Oscar stage, I thought it'd be a nice thing to do, to share the stage with them. So they all said, yeah, great. And I said, but just I want to warn you that I may say something about Bush or the war, so I don't want you to, be blindsided by that or whatever. And I think they were all wearing a peace pin, if I remember correctly. And they were all, oh yeah, no, great, we'd be honored to come up. And so then Diane Lane came out on the stage, and I've always been a huge fan of hers. And she read the names of the nominees, opened up the envelope, and she gave this sigh, and a smile came across her face, and I thought, oh no. And then she said the name of the film. The winner of the Oscar goes to Bowling for Columbine, and then she screams out my name, Michael Moore. And so we got up, and my wife, who's also the producer of the film, Kathleen Glynn, and I motioned to the other, documentary nominees, come on up with me. And they all came, and we all went up on the stage, and I'm thinking, what am I going to say? And everyone has stood. There's this huge standing ovation. We were like the 14th award of the night, and it was the first winner that there was a standing ovation for the night. And it was incredible walking down the aisle. I just remember this great feeling of of both euphoria and humility. And different people reaching out to congratulate me, Julianne Moore, and I'm just, I'm holding my wife's hand and go up the stairs, and we got up there, and I go to the microphone. Diane Lane hands me the Oscar, and Michael Donovan and Kathleen, I give it to her, and they're still standing and applauding, I got to be honest. I mean, there was a moment there I just thought, I could just stand here and soak up all the love and just blow them a few kisses and say thank you and walk off, have my great Oscar moment. But I got this damn conscience, it's always like telling me, no, you must do your job. And so for whatever that minute or so was from the time the name of the film was announced to when I started to speak, I mean, that was a great moment that I'll always cherish. Now, like I said, the Academy Awards wouldn't allow me now to show my speech to you, which, of course, many of you may have already have heard about. But so I'll recite it to you as best as I can remember it at this point. I said, on behalf of our producers, Kathleen Glynn and Michael Donovan from Canada, I'd like to thank the Academy for this award. I've invited the other documentary nominees up on the stage here with me, and at that point everyone applauded them. Although, as I remember, it was the first time there were like two people that booed. They booed the fact that the other nominees were up there. Of course, I was violating protocol. I was told later that no winner had ever invited the other four nominees up on the stage for his Oscar moment. So I don't know if that offended some people or whatever, but I just thought it was the right thing to do. And then I said, we make nonfiction. We like nonfiction films. We like nonfiction because we live in fictitious times. We live in a time of fictitious election results that elect a fictitious president. We're now engaged in a war being fought for fictitious reasons, whether it's the fiction of duct tape or orange alerts. And then I said, Mr. Bush, we are against this war. Shame on you. Shame on you, Mr. Bush. And any time that you've got the Pope and the Dixie Chicks against you, your time is up. That was my Oscar speech, and I thanked everyone and bowed and walked off stage. Somewhere around the words in the first sentence there about the fictitious election results, the first response, people cheered when I said that, because especially if you're watching this on DVD now, years from now, just as a reminder, in the 2000 election, the majority of Americans did not vote for George W. Bush. They voted for Al Gore. So we are living under a president right now who is not serving at the will of the majority of the people. And as soon as many in the audience cheered that, then some up in the balcony started to boo the people cheering that. And then I got off the next line about the fictitious war and the reasons for going to war. And then more people cheered, then some people booed them, and then the cheering people started booing the booers, and and it just developed into this cacophony of noise. And looking back on it now, what feels really great about it is that that's one of the wonderful things about living in a free society. That's the noise of democracy. That's the noise of a free people. That's the, people cheering something they agree with, people saying, no, I don't agree with that. It was one of those profound moments. You wish that we had more of those in our society, that people actually cared enough to feel one way or the other about anything. Afterwards, a lot of people praised me. Some people were very critical of what I said. It was not the right place. It wasn't appropriate. It wasn't the appropriate place to say that. I've never lived my life that way. I've always believed that it's appropriate if you feel it's appropriate, and if your conscience is telling you that you must not remain silent, then you have to speak out. Now, was the Oscar stage the appropriate place to make these remarks? Well, I thought so. They had just honored me for my film, a film that was about guns, violence, American violence, and of course, if you've seen the film now on this DVD, it's about also American violence that's exported to other countries. It's about wars that we fought. The first Gulf War is in there. Saddam Hussein's in there. What we did to the people of Iraq is in there. George W. Bush is in Bowling for Columbine as one of the fear mongers. So my comments were very much in keeping with the film. They were very appropriate to this film that had just been awarded this Oscar. If I'd made a film about birds or insects, maybe it wouldn't have been appropriate, but I made a film about violence, and we were in the 5th day of a war that I believed then and believe now was immoral and unjust and wrong, and it fit perfectly with why I made this film, and it not only was something that I said, it was something that I had to say, because that's how I live my life, and I encourage other people to live their lives that way, to stand up, to be heard, to speak out. I got to tell you, ever in the last 3 weeks since I got this, walking around through airports, on the city streets, whatever, the remarks from people have been incredible. People have been so appreciative of me saying what I said and being a voice for the people that don't have a voice out there, and I've been very, very touched by that. Somebody said, I guess this will go on that Oscar highlights reel. I don't know. It wasn't my intention. Like I said, I didn't really plan anything out. In fact, I'd said this very speech the day before when we won the Best Documentary Award at the Independent Spirit Awards there in LA, and so I just reached back into something I'd said the day before, which got a huge ovation when I said it then. So, it's you live in the moment and the time that you're in, and I try to live my life in an authentic way, in an honest and sincere way, and at the end of the day, I'm Michael Moore. What else was I going to do? So, but here's something that I didn't get to say, because I only give you 45 seconds before they cut you off. And that's thanks to all of you out there who have watched my films, my books, TV, all the people who've supported me over the years. I can't thank you enough. Believe me, these media conglomerates would never put me up on the screen or on TV or whatever because they thought it was a good idea. They're only doing it because people like you actually rent this video or buy my book or whatever, and so it makes them money. And that's the only reason I'm let in the door. And believe me, they'd like to get me out that door as soon as possible. So I have nothing but the greatest respect and admiration and appreciation for every person out there who not only has watched my work, but is out there doing their own thing, doing their own work, making their own voices heard in whatever way that you're doing that, in small ways, everyday ways that don't make the newspapers or the TV shows or whatever. But I know that there are millions of other people out there who, like me, believe that we can do better. And so thank you. This is yours. I share this with you. If I could pass it around so you could each have it for a month on your mantle, I'd do that. So I again thank you, and let's go on and keep doing our work. Thanks a lot.